Specifically, Varoufakis said he wouldn't worry about the U.S. deficit level, even as the 75% debt-to-GDP of level has concerned many U.S. politicians. His book, Adults in the Room, which was just published in the U.S. on October 3, highlights the lack of power even for those in power. For U.S. President Donald Trump, he has direct advice: don't antagonize China. Do not antagonize China because you're playing with fire as you're boosting the federal budget deficit, he said. Playing with fire on the other side of the Pacific with your major creditors at the time when they are keeping the global economy going is a very silly policy. Varoufakis added, meanwhile, that fake news has been a long-lasting problem for liberals and conservatives alike. The liberal establishment is complaining about fake news coming from the alt-right. They have good cause to complain about that. But it was the very same liberal establishment that only 2 years ago were practicing the same fake news strategy against people like myself, he said. I would go into meetings with people like Mario Draghi of the European Central Bank, Jack Lew in Washington, D.C., Christine Lagarde at the IMF, and the systemic liberal press would misreport and distort utterly and completely what I was saying in those meetings, so it's a bit rich coming from them when they're now complaining for the fact that Donald Trump has upended them using their own techniques against them. Varoufakis added his most significant conversations in 2015 as he sought to navigate the crisis were with Wolfgang Schäuble, the German finance minister, because they reflected the powerlessness of power. He is the most powerful finance minister of Europe and maybe of the world, agreeing with me that what was being done to my country was detrimental to the interest of my country but also to Europe, he said. And the two of us finding ourselves in a situation where both of us were powerless. Power is propagated without the powerful having it, he said. Nicole Sinclair is markets correspondent at News Pulse Finance. Please also see how America's businesses are paving the way for 3% GDP growth. Why 3% GDP growth is unlikely to last. UPS CEO, thanks to automation, we're shipping more packages with the same number of people. Marriott CEO, corporations overstate the impact of tax cuts on business investment.